Justice, and this is Let's LiNK TV episode 4, featuring my man Ron Louis.
What's up, bro?
What's up, gang?
How you feeling?
Good, how you?
I'm good, man.
Appreciate you sliding, bro.
Of course, had to.
So how did the blue hue, how did that become a house call for you?
Honestly, I was in the middle of ending my brand, and I had access to some Air Force Ones from work. I was about to quit, actually. I went into work, and my manager at the time was like, yo, Ron, we got Air Force Ones. We got bought up by another company. And they was like, we got Air Force Ones for $10 right now, and it's not an error. So I never got to tell her I was about to quit. I just grabbed the entire stock for 2 weeks. And then I'm like, man, I remember doing Nike activations, and we dip dive some sneakers. I'm like, I think I could do that. Before I end the brand, I'm gonna just give away some sneakers. So I started thinking about how can I tie it into Chicago? And the flag is the first thing that came up, and something second that I heard Don C say. It was either Don C or Joe. It was around how tonal colorways felt like Chicago. So doing that, I played around with some colors and stuff like that. And as I was checking the shoe, it was this ice colorway. And I'm like, man, this would be cool to, have representation of freezing this moment in time of me starting a new era as celebration, not an ending. So I started doing the shoes, it blew up crazy. Of course, as you know, I got connected with Virgil, and some of our conversations was around that color. He was telling me I'm on to something lit. So I took it seriously, you know what I mean? And I'm like, man, this, let me make this one of my house codes to celebrate specific things. I can use this color to celebrate, let's just say hardware, something that I pay attention to make my audience draw in and see stuff from my perspective.
Definitely.
So it's a combination of things, but really just the Air Force One, my relationship with Virgil, and then using it as a contrast to highlight something or celebrate it.
Definitely, yeah. Freezing that moment in time too.
Yeah, for sure.
That's such a beautiful sentiment. I love the way that you put that, and I've read that before in an article, and I was always enamored with that concept of freezing the moment in time. Yeah. And like you said, not just, you're not moving on, but you're appreciating the moment that you had and then moving forward.
Right.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. That's
dope, man. How does some of those house codes, other house codes come to be, not just the hue, but Levi and different brands that you've incorporated into your design? How did those codes come to be, some of those codes?
Well, really just developing with my team, Locale. Shout out my man G. He does a lot of my graphic work, and when you're doing that, you're how do we own this thing? So I'm not super sure how we came up with the bar. I think just making the tag we made was this silhouette is interesting. We didn't do a small one, we did a super elongated one, a rectangle. So just again, developing that stuff with my team, just having conversations, watching people on the internet interact with stuff I'm just creating, kind of made itself, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, I do a good job at paying attention to the people that pay attention to me. So I saw it resonated, my team saw it resonated, and it was just another code we implemented. Instead of having my name everywhere, how can we own? Because I approach garments in general like a canvas, as an artist first, and then probably design a second. So seeing, a Levi, a Air Force One, stuff that's nostalgic, doing stuff with Coach, stuff that, I related to, or just remember growing up paying attention to denim, how can we own this canvas?
Yeah, and I love the we, and I love the our, and I love that the design language for you is tribal. It comes about through, like you said, people would pay attention to you and people you pay attention to. It's a reciprocated energy, and the language develops organically. And I love that, because I feel fashion is such a communal art form. you know, and getting to talk to you on a personal level, even off camera, whenever we do get a chance to talk, I always feel like that energy, that tribal energy, that communal energy. And that actually does transition me into my next question about a conversation that you and I had close to a year ago. And it was about like centralizing fashion in Chicago. And we talked about like how a lot of us as artists, creative designers from here tend to, you know, go offshore and go to other places, whether it be East or West Coast. But we talked deeply about the centralization of fashion in Chicago and making our roots here and continuing to grow here. Can you speak to that a bit?
I don't know. Again, like my intuition, you know, I think if I was called to go anywhere else or move around, you know, I probably would, but I just feel like it's a lot of work to be done in Chicago, just on structural levels and like, you know, letting people know like we are dope enough to cultivate our culture. You know, we go to, I speak for myself, but I go to other places and I would see like very Chicago coded stuff without the representation of a Chicago artist. So I don't know, even me just like coming up, being what I wanted to see was like a big motivation for me to just stay home and rep. You know, seeing Joe do it, you know, seeing plenty other people that's still here, Easy. It's just a few, Benjamin Egger, it's like a few people that I have a relationship with that's still here. And I'm like, yo, it's a lot of room to grow, you know, even working with Locale and seeing them doing a lot of production for, you know, different people. I'm like, man, it's great to like be able to go somewhere within the city and get stuff done. You know, I don't know, I feel passionate about that too, so.
Right, and I love that, man, because we do need to build up here. You know, 'cause like
and
you said,
it's happening.
It is, right now. What you did on Michigan Avenue is incredible.
Love, bro.
And congratulations again on the collaboration with Coach.
For sure.
How did that come about?
Actually, my buddy, Goody, like my best friend for real. I used to do a production company with him back in the day. He was running around blogging during the blog era. He's also an artist. He was an influencer for Coach. And, you know, he was like part of the like first program of them like incorporating influencer stuff within the company. So we kind of pushed the boundaries a lot together, just like stratting ideas. And I met a lot of like the staff and team representing him as like his manager or creative director. And we was talking about, you know, doing something for him at the flagship store with the DM. She was in town, like building up the store. And at the time, I didn't know they was working on the store we went to where I had the pop-up, which is Coach Play. But I just went in, I pitched the ideas, and they were like, well, who are you? Like, like you know, you obviously got an air about you. You carry yourself like somebody we should know. And so I let them know, really, I was pitching my team, Locale, and I was pitching Goody, and you know, we worked on some stuff, and they was just like, well, when we work with artists, we want to do like more stuff with like local people. I'm like, well, don't tell me that. And beforehand, I had a pitch deck ready, just in case. So I kind of like had the meeting right then and there, and they circled back a year later and we made it happen, like it aligned. But I always had a relationship with people at Coach and stuff like that, just from Goody being an influencer. So yeah, just the right time.
It was, man, serendipitous moments.
Yeah.
And I was talking to Goody at the event,
For sure.
at your event.
For sure.
And I had the nylons on.
Mm-hmm.
And he was, you know, he was admiring them because I guess he didn't get an opportunity to get a pair, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was, you know.
My best friend, that's crazy.
Bro, when I heard they were dropping, I was waiting on, I had notifications on my Instagram and all that.
Love, bro.
Absolutely.
It'd be crazy.
It'd be crazy.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate enough to get a pair. And every time I wear them, I always get complimented, man. Like even like Anastasia, the girl from the Coach influencer, you know, that girl. Yeah, she saw the fit. And she was just like, you know, enamored with them. And I was like, yo, you know, Ron designed these, right?
Yeah.
And she was like, what?
Really?
I was like, yeah. I was like, you need to go talk to him right now. Y'all need to go have a conversation. But yeah, back to what I was talking to Goody, and we were talking about the nylon itself.
Right.
And how like you really luxurized, and if that's not a word, I just made it one.
Thank
But you luxurized nylon for real. Like nobody, maybe Prada.
Prada, yeah, for sure.
We know it's but you did it in a street, luxe, culturally way that just made it so different, bro. And like it's so appreciated by anybody. Like my fiance's mom complimented me on. You know, she's not really a fashion person, but she loved the silhouette. Yeah. So how did you decide to incorporate nylon in your luxury designs?
Again, it's like one of those things. I don't tell this story often, but I used to just go to the fabric store, and a lot of times the fabric would like tell me what it wants to be. Like, and I got this weird relationship with fabrics and textiles. But nylon specifically was something I always used like in the beginning. And I think just like loving Margiela so much, I thought about like one of their house codes, which still is like wet looks. So I'm like, man, I think nylon could be like utilitarian or like waterproof. Like how can I, again, own, you know, having like, cause I used to wear nylon stuff, like playing ball and stuff, and like in the 90s. And I'm like, man, how can I like own that now, like today? So yeah, I think just intuition, man, like, and using stuff that I'm familiar with. Like I try to stay grounded by using the same materials in different ways.
That's dope, man.
Yeah.
And when you connected it to playing ball and saying like I used to wear nylon, that leads me to another question I have for you. How does nostalgia translate into your design? I know that was just a perfect example, but I know it probably happens all the time. So like with Levi, with Air Force One, with nylon, how does that nostalgia translate to design for you?
I think just a feeling, bro. Like, again, just being artist focused first. It's like, how can I bring that stuff forward and tweak it a bit and own it? Like, not change it. It's already well, you know, Virgil spoke on it. That's why I resonated with his work. How can I, you know, like lace it differently? Because I used to always do that with my stuff. Like, I would wear something that everybody got, but like just slightly different. I would watch people like copy it. So like when I got into design, I'm like, yo, I can have that same energy with the silhouettes that I'm working with until I develop into like my own, you know, let me grow with these pieces. I don't want to not put stuff out because I'm not sure about, you know, how something would do. So let me just reference stuff that I like, own it, and give it, you know, a spin for today. So really just like approaching in that way, like paying attention to the stuff I paid attention to as a kid. You know, like just having my friends and just paying attention to stuff that they like growing up or whatever it is. I'm like, yo, that's probably what you designed or engineered to do. So like just applying that same concept to myself, like what I paid attention to as a kid that most people probably didn't. Or if they did, they appreciate. Like how can we highlight and celebrate that? So that's how it translates for sure.
And I always tell like my youngest siblings or whoever I feel like, you know, that I can talk to about certain subjects, like, and since we're having this intimate conversation now, like I always tell people that we should wear our inner child like a cloak. It protects us, you know, and I feel like when you say things like that, like as far as like how it connects to like what you like as a child or what your friends like as children.
Right.
That cloak that we wear, that inner child cloak, it protects us from adulthood, you know, because adulthood really puts a damper on our creativity and a damper on our thirst for adventure, you know what I mean? Like, I just love the fact that that's how you feel too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Connected
Absolutely.
to that child inside. Talked about Virgil just a moment ago, and I believe he called it the 3% rule or something like that. So what were your talks with Virgil like after he caught wind of you as a designer? What kind of relationship did you guys start to build, and how has that relationship affected you as far as how you want to carry on the legacy for yourself and for the city?
Man, it didn't make sense. I don't speak about it a lot, but at the time, they were very in-depth, philosophical, deep conversations, and frequent. Just being, you know, like I feel like we all mirrors of each other, right? And that version of myself, which is him, was super interesting for me because it was like looking into like the future. So I think something that really stood out for me was like, here's this dude, I'm still like in the hood at the time. He like creative directing for like Louis Vuitton, but if he say he gonna text me Wednesday cause he in Paris, he get back, you know, typically you'd be like, all right, you know, but you know, he would legit do it.
Wow.
And that's the type of person that I am, you know, so I can say around that time I was feeling a little like, I was letting that bitter stuff come in a bit. You know, I wasn't outward with it, but I was just feeling like, it ain't, you know, like whatever. Again, I was about to end the brand, go to LA, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like do some styling work. But like that was like another pivotal point, that relationship, as far as like validating the type of person that I am. Cause like, I don't really, if I see you trying to do something that like, I know is like scary, which is like putting yourself out there, I'ma support it. Like, I hear stuff all the time, like people say X, Y, and Z. I don't really like let it affect me if you don't say it to me personally, because where I come from, like, that's just how you gotta be. You know what I'm saying? Like, I come from like real situations that's like life-threatening. So like to me, fashion was just like, okay, it's clothes, we expressing ourselves, it's never like that deep. But again, I was getting into that mode of like, you know what, you know, screw this or whatever.
Right.
I'm gonna just do my own thing. So like meeting him just reaffirming like, no, you can still like always be yourself. And like, he said something to me, I speak about it a lot. He was like, man, it's up to us to do the heavy lifting. Like basically saying like, that work is harder than being like, you know, exclusive, like being inclusive, making people feel seen. That's what he did.
Right.
Like he helped me feel seen when I didn't feel seen at the time. So, you know, I just kind of carry that like within my work and like, again, that community aspect, because that's why I got into art. So it just like reaffirmed that like, yo, this dude at his highest level was reaching out to me in the hood somewhere, you know?
Yeah.
Like just keep that energy going, so.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's big pivotal point in my life for sure, our relationship.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I can see that legacy already, you know, I can see that happening in real time.
For sure.
You know, and everything that you described Virgil as your mirror to the future. I can see it.
One of them, for sure.
Yeah, one of them.
Yeah.
And then I can see it, you know, and whenever we have a conversation, just like, and you telling the story,
yeah,
it makes a lot of things make sense for me, you know, like the way that you carry yourself and the way he carried himself. Like I can see the parallel.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah. That dude's like Superman, you know what I'm saying? To me, at least.
As are you.
Yeah, for sure. It's like, all right, you know, you could be yourself and still be in this space.
That's dope.
You know what I'm saying?
And speaking of legacy, when it comes to that, are there creative director talks for you? Or that you be entertained, that you're interested in? Like, what does that look like?
Nothing like official, you know, but that's definitely like the direction that I want to go in, because I think, again, I have a intuition to bring the best, like, I try to bring like the best version and like inspire the people around me and find the best at whatever it is I'm trying to get done, and bringing them together and make teams and like working on stuff at the highest level. But I personally feel like it just takes time, and using my brand as like the portfolio to that would help me, you know, get in the position that I want to be in. So like, I hear a little buzzing and stuff like that around like different projects and stuff, but it's nothing that I entertain yet. But I'm definitely open to, you know, whatever, for sure.
Right, and when that role, if it does organically happen, it is something that you would be interested in entertaining. Do you feel that that role would compromise your brand, like in a way, or would it not?
No, I don't think so. I think if anything, it'll just leave me room to be even more creative with the brand.
Right.
Cause like now I don't drop like collections. I don't, you know what I mean? I kind of like drop when I want to drop. So that'll just help me have the funds to do it in a cooler way.
Right.
I think, or like learn and like, you know what I mean? Like continue to grow.
So one thing I really wanted to know about and wanted to ask you about was the packaging. What was the creative process of conceptualizing the packaging?
Just like trial and error stuff for real with again my team, Local. And it was actually original packaging for an Air Force One project that never released, that I thought was like super cool. We had like a bunch of, you know, the bags left over from it that never went through. And I'm like, yo, let's take advantage. You know, always doing that. Like, let's take advantage of what we have versus like coming up with some new stuff. And originally we had like a small, again, bar sticker on the front. And then I had bought like some mailers that had like bubbles in them. It just wasn't as pretty. And Local, my boy G was like, yo, let's just do a clean one like with the stuff we got. And we probably should do like a big sticker versus like the small ones you got. I can't remember why I had those stickers, but just working on projects, just organically, you know, making stuff with the guys, bro, honestly. And then, I don't know, it just, people liked it. So it was like, cool. Cause originally the sticker was just a closure for like some hats we made. So we were just taking advantage of the stuff we already had and then upscaling it.
Definitely, man. When I look at it, to me, like, you know, art is subjective, right? Like,
right.
When you make art, you want people to get what they get out of it. And for me, the packaging, I'm a big on packaging. I really enjoy the process of packaging, opening and experiencing the product through the packaging. You know, it's just an amazing feeling. Yeah. And with your packaging, it gives me like this futuristic, like space kind of vibe.
Yeah.
But at the same time, after having this conversation with you about the mirrors, like the reflectiveness of it, it's almost like I want you to see yourself in this product.
That's deep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
And I can see, when I'm looking at the packaging, like I see me. And
for sure.
me, I see you. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
It's like, and it's that connection, that bond that it creates, that link that
it
creates through.
That might have been subconscious though, you know? Because I was thinking about the future and like when I was young, like my first brand was like creating a uniform for the future. Wow. So like it could be like subconsciously doing it, because I do remember like posting like the first packaging idea and like putting a spaceship, like ship it. That's something Ben always say that I like think is funny, but real too. Like a lot of people don't ship stuff, so yeah, man. Like, man, that's crazy you said that. I never really thought about it like that, but at the same time, yeah. You know?
I feel like whenever we have these kind of talks, those type of things emerge.
For sure.
You know?
Yeah.
It's really like dope like that.
Yeah.
And my last question for you is, who would you like to see on Less Than TV? Like, who would be interesting for you to watch?
Man, bro, I got like some dudes that's like coming up that I rock with. This kid named Eli, I think is interesting. My boy Micah, he'll probably be fired on here. Jordan, he got a company called Family. I'm gonna send you their pages, man, but something about them, like for me, I just, again, see myself in them. I like what Chelsea's doing. It's a lot of people, bro. What's that one kid? Jackson Napier. I don't know his name, but I found out about him through Casper. And Aziz. They're over there doing Ego. It's a lot of people though, but probably like right now, I don't know, I kind of want to see like Eli.
Okay.
Like I want to hear more. I seen the interview with Micah, so I learned about him, but my personal, I would love to see him like speak about his, cause he got like that right before something pop off crazy, cause he got the hats going, he got a lot of stuff going, belts based around magic, it's the name of his brand, but I think his story tying in with this stuff would be crazy to watch. Yeah, I'm gonna send you his page.
Dope. Well, brother.
Man, love, bro. Thanks for having me.
Love, bro. Appreciate you.
sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
So,
That was Let's Link TV episode 4 featuring my man Ron Louis. Stay tuned for the next one. We got a crazy guest coming up.